rolling. Welcome back to Off Topic with Tim and Matt, our fantastic sports podcast where we always go off topic. So to get things started, a big reveal.
The Tim's big reveal.
Tim's big reveal. You ready? Drum roll. Give me a drum roll. Oh, my zipper's stuck. Oh! Turn around. Turn around.
Oh!
Number 31, ladies and gentlemen. Number 31.
Carey Price.
Carey Price. Greatest goalie not to be playing in the Four Nations Cup. There you go. I'm sweating. It is hot in here.
I'm like, why does he have a coat on? It's a hot, beautiful day today. He wanted to hide that. And I would hide it too.
Oh.
Well, and if I'd known, I would have worn my new Kings hoodie that I got for Christmas. But I brought my Dodgers World Series champions shirt instead.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Very nice. My team is on a three-game winning streak.
Nice.
They're above 500 in the playoff mix. And let me tell you, you go on, you watch the highlights from the last game.
Yeah.
Cole Caulfield's game-winning goal. In overtime.
Oh, I love Cole Caulfield.
Oh, my God. Deked out three guys, top shelf, textbook.
Not a huge Habs fan, but I do like Caulfield.
Yeah, him and Nick Suzuki are a 1-2 punch that are just Hull and Oates.
You got that video I sent you of the Bruins guy and the Habs girl, and the Bruin mascot smacks his beer in his head.
But she's really cute.
Don't date interdivisional.
Okay, so a lot of talk. Still is the Four Nations Cup.
Tim, I know you're wrong a lot.
A lot.
But this was a really good wrong for Tim.
It certainly was.
It was excellent. I mean, from beginning to end, it was exciting.
It was really good.
The first game was Canada,
Finland,
Sweden.
Yeah.
And it was exciting.
They went up. They were what 3-0, and they won it 4-3.
In overtime.
So they blew it. And then Finland, I think they won quite handily.
Yeah, they beat Finland quite handily. U.S., it was a tight game. U.S. won.
What a game. See, I want to go. So here's the big thing where I was wrong. I called the championship game 5-2 USA.
Right.
That was the call. Now, I'm often wrong. The only time I'm not wrong when I said Buffalo KC was going to be a close game. That I was right. So I'm not wrong all the time. So Canada goes in. First off, I was lukewarm on this tournament to begin with.
No, I hate it.
I love the Olympics. I love the NHL stars at the Olympics. Major League Baseball needs to send their top players to the Olympics. Okay? This is my frame of thought. So I'm like, this is lame. Ovechkin's not even playing, for God's sake. What happens if the top three scorers are like Latvian, Swiss, and German? They're not even going to be there. What are you doing? Come on. So I was kind of lukewarm on the whole thing. And then, okay, I'll watch Canada-USA. And what a start.
Yeah.
What a start. And the U.S. came out swinging. And they set the tone, and Canada answered. JT Miller found that out when he went after the McCarr guy in front of the net and got his ass handed to him. And the U.S. battled. I thought their goaltending was better. Their team defense was better. They were hitting harder. The tight ice in North America. And they're going into the final. I'm like, okay, they've got this. They want this so bad. And boy, was I wrong.
Well, and it wasn't, and I don't think you were wrong. I mean, if you look at the first game, it was a 3-1 U.S. win, but it was an empty net goal.
Yeah, 2-1. So
it was 2-1 game. Yeah. So it was a tight fight.
It was.
It started out 3 fights in the first 9 seconds.
It was awesome.
Crazy.
Right?
But when you get into that final game, and we're really jumping the gun here because there's some really good hockey before that.
There was.
Like Canada and the Sweden game went to overtime. Canada went up 3-0. Sweden came back.
Finland and USA, really
close. It was 6-1 USA, but Finland was taking it to them, and Hallebuck deserved a medal for standing on his head.
Oh, yeah.
And then you get Finland and Sweden go to overtime, 4-3, Finland wins, So, everybody's kind of on par here.
Yeah.
And then US-Canada, 2-1.
Yeah.
3-1 with the empty net goal.
Yeah.
Fights to begin the game. Everybody's going at it hard. Everybody left it on the ice. It was a great game.
And who was the Hagel, the young kid Hagel?
Yeah.
He got in a second fight, who's like, waving his arms to get people into it.
Yeah.
He goes, people think this is an all-star game. I'm going to put my head through a wall for this game.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize how intense these guys got. I was like completely naive.
Crazy.
I don't watch a lot of hockey till like now.
Yeah.
Just because it's a long season and there's other sports on. I can't get too excited about,
Well,
hey, somebody beat Buffalo. You know what I mean? Like,
and I wish I had the video that Rich Eisen had about what was happening with the NBA All-Star Game, and there was like glowing cones. And
Rich Eisen,
moonlighting
of course. Let's give a bit of a background. Does NFL Network since the time of sports began. Never mentions hockey.
No.
He's an NFL guy. He
Yeah.
loves the NBA, and then he'll do a little bit of Major League Baseball if something big happens.
Yeah.
Never mentions hockey.
Yeah.
He goes, I'm sitting at home, my phone blows up. And he goes, oh, right, NBA championship dunk contest. No, turn on the Canada-USA game. And he is like, they cracked the code.
Yeah,
This is the
all
best thing
certainly.
I've ever seen. And he had Gary Bettman on after the tournament was over.
Oh, I missed that one.
Interviewing Gary Bettman. He's like, dude, oh my God, this is amazing. Are the other commissioners calling you to find out like what they should be doing? Like he was so into it. And his producers, we found out, one's a big Buffalo Sabres fan.
Yeah.
And was watching Sabres hockey on his phone during the Super Bowl, right? A couple of the other guys is like a massive Kings fan or something.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
he's got hockey people around him, but he's like, no one wants to tell. But that pushed it over the edge, and it was so well. And we're going back to the Olympics, 2026 Milan.
Well, okay, we'll get to that point. We're talking about that in a second because I thought that was hilarious too.
Yeah.
But okay, so in Montreal they play the first three Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday in Montreal.
Yeah.
Then they went to Boston.
Right.
And
Garden.
Garden.
TD Garden.
And the U.S. loses there to Sweden, but they rested a bunch of players.
Mm-hmm.
They put Hellebuck on the bench because they were already in the final game.
Yeah.
They didn't have to win nothing. They rested a bunch of players, a couple people with bumps and bruises. I think only one of the Kachuk brothers played.
One poor guy had his arm in a sling, blew out his shoulder.
Yeah. So they you know what? We're just gonna put some people on the bench. They still only lost 2-1. Their defense played great.
Yeah.
But then it came to that Thursday night game, and I swear North America in total were on the edge of their seat.
9.3 million viewers
Yeah.
in the U.S. I think it was 10.5 in Canada.
Yeah. Nuts.
My coworker had to take their dog for a walk, and goes, I just went for a walk. And she's going past her neighborhood. Every single TV screen had it on. All of a sudden, yeah! She's like, oh,
Canada must have scored.
yes, Canada must have scored.
Yeah, it was a great game.
It was so good. And we needed this. Canada needed this. 2 crappy World Juniors, the 54 state nonsense, and Canada needed this bad.
I think yes, they did. They haven't been in the international game for a while, and Connor McDavid's never played an international game at the pro level.
No, that's right. Yeah,
and that was a huge thing. Like this was his coming out at the international stage. Great. Now we'll move on to the Olympics. So one of our last shows, Tim was we talked about this, and Tim was anti Four Nation Cup. NHL needs to go to the Olympics, right? Forget this BS. Forget this BS. Olympics.
I didn't. I mean, of course, when I said BS, I'm talking about the typical All-Star game format. Which is a big waste of time, right?
Yeah. So, and the thing, I go home and I'm Googling around, and I'm like, are the NHL going back to the Olympics? Because I thought I'd heard somewhere that they were, and you were saying that they need to do this. Turns out, the Sunday before our last show, they announced they are going to be in Milan.
Okay.
They had just announced it, and when I saw that they were going, I thought, oh, did someone watch our show today? And someone listen to Tim? Right?
Gary Bettman.
Yeah. So hey, we got listeners, right? But no, it turns out the Sunday before they announced that they are going back to the Olympics. They'll be there next year in Milan, which makes this Four Nation Cups even more important, is that it may be the only one ever.
No, Gary Bettman said, and the Rich Eisen, they're gonna do this every other year. They're gonna have a World Cup, and then they're gonna have a Four Nations Cup. And it's going to go to like 6 nations or something.
Oh, okay.
So you have Russia there and probably, Slovakia.
Slovakia, yeah. They're a really good team, yeah.
They have some great players.
Yeah.
Canada, Czechoslovakia back in the old Iron Curtain days was always a good game. And Czechs have really fallen off. It's kind of too bad.
Yeah.
But when they was Czechoslovakia, they wanted to play like Canada.
Yeah.
And they brought it. They were always good
Always
games.
good games, yeah.
Yeah, so yeah.
So, I mean, I thought, I think it's great that we're going back to the Olympics. I think it's great that they're keeping this international hockey, the nationalism going. I mean,
Jingoism never hurt anybody.
It just, you know what? Be proud of your country. I think it's great. I think it's a lot of fun. I did not like, and I will say this right now, if you ever come to me to a sporting event and you start booing the other nation's national anthem, I will punch you in the face.
It's horrible.
It's the most disgusting thing I think I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And to the U.S.'s credit, when the Canada-U.S. game started, the Canadian national anthem started, and you heard some boos, and then the U.S. started singing along.
Exactly.
And they showed a lot more class than we did in Montreal. I was very disappointed in that. And that's my rant for today.
Yeah.
Don't do it.
No.
Don't do it.
The only thing I want to tweak to the 4 nations thing is say you go 6, and each team should be able to pick 1 or 2 international players.
Yes.
So if the top goalie is Latvian and Latvia's not in it, you should have some sort of lottery so you can pick the top out of your nation and let them play with you. That'd be sort of fun, right?
Yep.
So you could get Ovechkin, Ovechkin and Malkin weren't there. And Kucherov from Tampa wasn't playing.
Yep.
So you would have gotten those guys in there. It would be kind of fun, right?
Yeah. And if you're looking at just NHL players, then do a Russia team and then do a rest of Europe team.
Sure,
or
something like that. Yeah.
Rest of the world team type thing, right?
A global team or something.
A global team.
Yeah.
So you can get these stars from these other countries because let's be honest, Slovakia's got like 3 guys playing.
Yeah.
Right?
Latvia.
Germany's got a guy or 2.
Yeah.
Latvia's got a guy or 2. Right? You could put a really good international global team together and come out and challenge as well.
And half these guys probably played together either in Europe, U.S. college, or CHL. Like people forget, the Latvian goalie speaks really good English. He's been playing in Canada for 10 years.
Since he was 14.
Yeah, right? So one more thing on 4 Nations Cup before we wrap this up, because we're in a bit of a hurry today.
Yeah.
So controversy around Wayne Gretzky. Now, Wayne Gretzky went on social media wearing a MAGA hat with standing next to Trump or something.
Yep. Yeah.
He's the honorary captain for Team Canada. He came out on the U.S. side of the bench, gave the U.S. the thumbs up before coming over to Canada to stand next to that god-awful guy from that 1980 U.S. Olympic team in the Classic that I just wish would go away because it was 1980 and they got lucky. Everyone's ragging on Wayne Gretzky for this, okay? There's 2 points I'm going to make. First of all, 3 points. The people ragging all live in Toronto.
Yeah.
I think Austin Matthews is a cross-generational player. He was the same Austin Matthews that let Connor McDavid wide open in front of the net in overtime so he could win it. That's the first point. Second point is Wayne Gretzky's been playing international hockey for Canada since about 1979.
Yeah.
Okay? He was the architect behind 2002 in Salt Lake City and 2010 in Nagano. He has done everything he can for hockey in this country, okay? He's a proud Canadian, but he lives in the States like 90% of all the other Canadian hockey players out there. Yeah. They don't live in Canada anymore. They stay down there and they visit on their holidays. Okay? Second of all, and this is the most important one, Wayne Gretzky is a grown-ass man who can vote and support for whoever he wants because in the United States and in Canada, we live in democracy where you get to do that. He's a grown man. If he wants to support someone, he's allowed to do that and it has nobody's right to criticize him for it. And you know what? What do you want him to do? Wear a Trudeau hat? Is that what all these rednecks want him to do? He wasn't there for the trucker protest. And we're the trucker protesters now that we got this 51st state inflation tariff thing going on.
Yeah.
They're nowhere.
Yeah.
He can do whatever the hell he wants. He's a great Canadian. He's a brilliant hockey player. And every person I've ever talked to who's ever met him in person says he's the nicest guy you've ever met in your entire life. As down to earth, as despite all his money and all the success, he's still a kid from Brantford, Ontario. Go Wayne, I love you.
Yeah, I mean, it's like booing national anthems.
It's stupid.
It's stupid.
It's childish.
People are going to have political opinions, and I don't talk politics a lot.
No,
because I I'll have a discussion.
Yeah.
I'm not arguing politics with anybody.
No.
You're entitled to your opinion. I'm entitled to my
Exactly.
opinion. We can discuss it like adults.
Yeah.
And walk away maybe a bit more enlightened.
Right.
Right. But the Trump derangement syndrome, TDS,
terrible.
is horrible.
Yeah.
Like there's people that if you just mention the word Trump, they just go off unhinged. I'm not a fan. I didn't like him when he was doing The Apprentice before he was president.
No, never liked him.
Never been a fan of his.
Never.
But
Somebody voted for him,
lots of people voted for him.
and he won big, fair and square.
Right?
You know?
You don't like you don't like his opinion, you don't like him. I'm sorry. I get that, okay? A lot of people don't. But a lot of people do. And that's what democracy is about.
Thank you.
The majority
Learn to cope.
rules.
Yeah.
So
learn to cope. And the problem is it's social media, right?
Yeah.
Because right now there's X and there's what, Blue Sky or something.
Yeah, yeah.
So all the the MAGA hats are on X, and all the wokes, we'll say, the small little liberals, which I consider myself one, is on
Blue Sky,
and everyone over 50 is on Facebook.
That's me.
And thank you. And we all, so you just share the same information amongst like-minded people, and you don't listen to the other side ever.
Yeah.
And this is the problem.
And that's what being a centralist is.
Yeah.
If I hear a story, and the Wayne Gretzky story is one of the ones I did hear that, and I looked into it right away. And yeah, he was down there. He was supporting Trump, and him and his wife support Trump, and that's great. You know who else does? Patrick Mahomes' wife.
Yeah.
She full on supports Trump.
Oh, yeah.
Because they have those like-minded ideas. Don't have to like them,
No.
but you don't have to be a jackass about it.
Don't be rude about it.
Yeah.
And when you start bashing like that, and you have the F Trudeau flags on your car, you're just as bad as they are.
Yeah.
Yeah. People go off in MAGA hatters. It's like you're just as bad as they are. You're being just as rude, just as ignorant, and you're not listening. So maybe you sit down and talk to someone. You might learn something.
And even though in our minds that was Canada versus the U.S., those people that were involved with the running of that, the playing of the games, the coaching,
Amazing job.
they are a family, right? The fact that Wayne gave the thumbs up to somebody on the U.S. bench, I don't even know who he was giving the thumbs up to. He just gave the thumbs up. You could have seen a buddy of his was a coach in the back. He's like, hey, you're looking good back there.
Of course he's not going to dump on the U.S. players. He went on the American side of the bench.
Oh, my
Who
goodness.
cares? He's walking on the... What do you want? Shut up. Like, oh, my God.
It was pretty whiny. So
Very whiny. Okay,
All right.
that wraps up our hockey portion. Go Habs. My team's on a 3-game winning streak. Could compete for a playoff spot. They're still young.
I don't know if I'll go too crazy with that. But
Could compete
Yeah, well,
for a
just
playoff spot.
Quick look at the standings here, right?
They're about 500.
They are 28, 26, and 5.
There you go.
Yeah, but they're second to last in their conference.
And, okay, so look
But
at the
they're
points.
only 5 points behind the last playoff spot.
There we go. So there's a slight chance.
Yeah, there's always a chance.
There's always a
chance.
There's
So
a chance. Okay.
let's just see how my Kings are doing quickly while we're here. Oh, they're doing they're up in the third spot. They're holding on quite good.
There you go.
Yeah,
Still
Canucks are
early.
right
They
there,
have
too.
lots of time to lose. Okay.
I don't get how the Canucks are hanging on.
They
Like-
trade JT Miller and they keep this Peterson guy who's done sweet all. I think the problem was I don't listen to the blog posts. I don't follow a lot of Canucks hockey. I think they wanted to trade this Elias Peterson guy, and
Yeah.
nobody would take him. So they were forced to move JT Miller, which is classic Canucks hockey. I mean, how does this like?
I think the way the Canucks are doing it, and you just compare them to Montreal. Montreal's actually got more wins than the Canucks. They're 28. Canucks are 27. Canucks only have 21 losses, where Montreal has 26 losses and 5 ties. Canucks have 11 ties. They're getting that 1 point.
Yeah.
So they're sticking in games enough to get that 1 point. And
Montreal, you got to remember, 3 seasons ago they were the worst team in the league. Last year they got a top 5 pick. You know what I mean? And same with the year before. So they're playing out. They're much better than they were 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And if you look at the teams like San Jose and Chicago and the bottom basement teams they're competing against for that number 1 pick.
Yeah.
Because when you're losing, that's the one thing you want. They've done a lot better than, say, their peers in the bottom of the league.
Yes.
They're showing marked improvement as they go forward.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's progress, and you got to be, small victories and all that kind of
100%.
stuff. All right.
So.
Thank you very much for tuning in. That wraps up this portion of Off Topic with Tim and Matt. Don't forget to go on YouTube to like and subscribe Off Topic with Tim and Matt, because we want your support for our show. All right.
All right.
Tune in next time where we always go
Off topic.
Go call Caulfield. He wasn't on the U.S. team. If he was on the U.S. team, they would have won. I'm
Yeah.
just saying. Connor Bedard, Nick Suzuki should have been on Team Canada. I'm just saying.
Oh,
Just saying.
lots of what it could have, should have on there.
I think Connor Bedard should have been there because he is next generation.
Yeah.
And in the World Junior, when he was there, next level.